Hey everyone, I'm back. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. I hope that you've had an amazing week. For those of you who are new to Mental Health Moment with Dr. Hammond, welcome for the very first time. Welcome. For those of you who tune in every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, welcome back. I hope that this year has been good thus far. I mean, we're almost halfway into this year, which is pretty crazy. I feel like we were just talking about how to ease into this year and how to set wellness goals and all the self-care things that you all were telling me that you were working on. I feel like we just talked about that. And then here we are, and we're almost halfway through the year here. So thanks for those who are starting to join here. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. And hi, thanks for joining here. And before I get started today, I do want to say I apologize. So last week, the mental health moment that I did that I normally put on my YouTube page is not on there because as luck would have it, I was at a restaurant, as I was telling you all, for those of you who did tune in live, with some family that came in out of town. It was the only time they could meet for dinner. And my plans was to go outside and do mental health moment. And of course, it was pouring rain. So I tried to find a spot in this really busy restaurant to still do mental health moment with you all. But unfortunately, the replay video was very glitchy. So I did not put it on YouTube. So if you went there looking, I apologize. But hopefully going forward, we won't have any more technical issues. But thanks for joining here and welcome. I see from Georgia, welcome. Argentina, welcome. California's in the house. This is Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. And today I really want to talk to you all about different things that you can do when you think about working on your wellness. And when you think about, there we go, the banner here. When you think about working on your wellness and you think about different ways that you can help yourself, because I know a lot of times when it comes to mental health, a lot of times society, we always think in extremes. So we think mental health and it's like this severe mental health disorder. And that's not all that mental health is. Every single one of us have mental health. There's a lot that we can do for ourselves to prevent clinical depression or anxiety or those sorts of things. But really all of us have mental health. Everybody has mental health, right? Just different ways. And hi, thanks for those who are still starting to join here. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. So one of the things I want to remind you of when you think about whatever it is that you're going through, we're all going through something different, right? Is what is a way that you can help yourself? Now, there are varying levels of mental health challenges, right? It could be there's so many different stresses that we go through. It could be something that you're like, kind of dealing with. I'm okay. I'm not really eating as well. I'm not sleeping as well, but I'm good, more or less. I can function. Or on the other end of the spectrum, you're like, Dr. Hammond, I am falling apart. Like I'm so stressed out, right? There's a spectrum for how we're doing. But either way, it's really important for you to be receiving the type of help that you need. Now, help comes in many different forms. So I always preach on mental health moment because I know there's a stigma of mental health. If you need a mental health professional, if you're like, I have tried everything at home, I have tried everything with my brother, sister, best friend, whomever, and it's just too much to bear, then going to a mental health professional can really be helpful. And I've always told you all, you can go to drnikishahammond.com, any of my social media sites, reach out, which many of you do, a direct message, and I'm more than happy to find you a professional. But if you're not, if you're like, for whatever reason, if you're like, I am not going to go to a mental health professional, or I don't feel like I need to right now, but I still need some type of help, then that's when you really have to start to think about where are you at with your own personal development? Because there are so many different ways to grow as a person, right? And so last weekend or so, last week, time is flying by here. I went to this conference. For example, I went to a speakers conference. It was a next level conference. It was hosted by one of my speaking coaches, Jeremy Anderson. And what was so fascinating about that experience as a psychologist I'm thinking I'm just going to learn more about speaking, but really it was it was transformational. It was a really transformational experience in this 3-day conference. It was very spiritual. We worked on a lot of things, not just how to be better speakers and how to serve the world, but how do we as individuals grow emotionally and spiritually and physically, mentally, right? So I'm not saying you have to go to speakers conference unless you really want to, but think about the things for you that you need to be doing in order to grow and in order to move forward. And that could be one of two things: either adding something into your life, whether it's more self care, whether it is more self personal development, which comes in a gazillion forms. It feels like nowadays there's conferences, there's podcasts, there's YouTube videos. You can come to Mental Health Moment. There's books, or there. I mean, if you're going to a place of worship, wherever it is for you that you know you need to immerse yourself into that in order to grow as a person, you start to add that in. Or for some of you, you're on the opposite end. You need to take some things out, right? Because you're just overwhelmed. And you're like, Dr. Hammond, there is no way I can add anything else to my life. Maybe you're in that end of the spectrum. So you need to really think hard about how to prioritize what is going on with your life and what is it that you need to remove. It may be a person, it may be a habit, it may be a situation, or whatever it is that is in your control, because we know who's really in control, but whatever situation is within your control that you need to remove from your life, right? And so it was actually fascinating at this conference that I was at. One of the things that the host was telling us was, think about, and I'm going to remind you of that too, like, what do you need to release in order to receive? And I found that for me, it was very spiritual and it was very powerful. And so I want to share that with you too. And again, my mentor, Jeremy Anderson, is doing this conference, and he's telling us, asking us, what do you need to release in order to receive? But that's something else that I want to ask for you all to think about as well. Because a lot of us, when it comes to mental health, a lot of us are holding on to fear, holding on to sadness, holding on to resentment, holding on to the past, holding on to what could have been, should have been, would have been, all of that. Like that mentally is draining you all, right? So I'm not saying this is an easy process, but I encourage you to really take a step back and to think about, again, what is it that you either need to add into your life or remove from your life to really continue that path of growth for you? Because that, for those of you who are new to Mental Health Moment, this is what Mental Health Moment is all about. It is about your personal growth, your development. If you need therapy, if you need a professional, that is not a sign of weakness. It does not mean you're crazy. It does not mean you're weak. It does not mean you've given up. Like, none of those things. It means the opposite, that you're brave, that you're willing to take the extra steps, that you're willing to have a partner, a professional partner with you to work on some things, right? So if you need that step, take it. If you don't need that step, but you need something else, please embark on this journey. And for those of you who have been tuning in every single week here at the Mental Health Moment, at the beginning of the year, we've been talking about extensively about moving into this new year, about your wellness goals, about your self-care goals. But now is the time, as we enter almost halfway through the year here, and it's Mental Health Awareness Month in May. Now is the time to really start to be in reassess mode, to reassess, where are you at? Again, I always say, without judgment and without self-blame. Not at all helpful. You don't have to go there. If you're like, Dr. Hammond, my life fell apart this year, there's so many things that happened, it was difficult. That's okay. We're going to keep going, keep growing, right? You don't have to blame yourself. You don't have to be in a judgment for yourself. That doesn't help your mental health. But instead, be in a place of, okay, you need to readjust. We are human. You can readjust. You're allowed. I give you permission. You can readjust. So if you need to readjust some of your goals, you readjust. If you're like, man, I'm killing it, my wellness goal, cool. Congratulations to you. But either way, we have to keep going. And as I mentioned, just to really make sure that and also give yourself a pat on the back and celebrate the baby steps, because those are really, really important too. Yep. Someone said that it means you're responsible to take care of yourself. Yes, absolutely. You hit the nail on the head. It absolutely does mean you're responsible to take care of yourself. And I know we have plenty of other mental health videos about self-care, but I will just remind you briefly that when you work on being the best version of who you are, you allow yourself to be, first of all, it's helpful to you, but you also allow yourself to bring that light into the world to your whomever, to your family members, to your friends, to people you're around, your coworkers or whomever. Wouldn't I mean, I would think all of us want that, right? We want to be, good to others and kind to others and bring the best versions of ourselves in whatever it is that we're doing. So that's an opportunity that you have when you work on your self-care. Uh, and someone says, not new, but I think you said, love to hear about my job. You're talking about. Oh yeah, yes, absolutely. But yeah, so that's why it's really, really, really critically important that you're taking these steps. As I mentioned, almost halfway through the year here, taking the steps, seeing where you're at, what do you need to add in, or what do you need to take out, and just starting this process. Maybe you're at the beginning, maybe you're in the middle, maybe you're close to your finish line. Wherever you are at, we are all at different places in our wellness journeys. And what I can tell you, yep, someone said, I'm only now realizing how much I need to look after myself and take care of me. You all, one of the reasons why I love Mental Health Moment, by the way, I do want to remind you that I don't forget in my own self-care journey and in my own wellness journey that there was a time I was not committed to self-care. I am not opposed to telling you that. I was running very ragged, very thin, little self care, little sleep, just by choice, which is totally not a good idea. And just constantly on the go, just constantly on the go with no self care. And it was really terrible. And then I started seeing how it was taking a toll on me emotionally, how it was taking a toll on me physically, how I wasn't who I wanted to be, the version of me that I wanted to bring into this world, right? So I had to make some changes, and it has been life changing. And I know that's a cliche thing to say that things are life changing, but it really, really has been. When once I made the commitment. Now, for those of you who have been tuning in on Mental Health Home, I usually go like 100 miles an hour, and I'm usually somewhere traveling or whatnot, doing different projects, which I still do. However, I do those things now with self-care in mind. And that's the difference. You don't have to change who you are, whoever you are, but I strongly encourage you to add in the self-care in the way that works for you to make sure you're healthy in whatever your goals are. Yeah, no problem whatsoever. So yeah, so I do want to tell you that, because I would be dishonest if I was saying, oh, I've been committed to self-care for my whole life. Absolutely not, especially as a kid. Last year we talked about children's mental health, and again, I apologize. That was the video for those of you just tuning in. That was a video I was telling you at the beginning was very glitchy because I was out and about trying to record Mental Health Moment, so I couldn't put it on YouTube, unfortunately. But the first Tuesday of every month is specifically devoted to children's mental health. But yes, when I was a child, I absolutely did not do well in the self-care department. And yeah, because it wasn't really talked about back then for kids and teens. When no one was talking to us about self-care, taking care of yourself, like it is today, thank goodness. So yeah, I didn't learn until a much later age the importance of self-care, the importance of taking care of myself if I'm going to show up to be the best version of who I am. But that's why I'm so passionate to tell you all, because it is amazing to try to stay to try to have peace of mind, to try to really take care of yourself and be the best version. It is an amazing feeling when you make that commitment. Good evening to you as well. Thanks for joining here. It's Dr. Hammond here with your Mental Health Moment. Today, we have been talking about reassessing, checking in with where you are at. We're almost halfway through the year here, and really thinking about what you need to add in to your life. If it's self-care, if it's personal development of some sort. I'm a huge advocate for some sort of personal development in the way that works for you. I know everybody's not a book reader. Cool. Or you may be a podcaster. You like the podcast or YouTube or article, however, friends, family, however you can be a better version of you. Stick to that plan. Or some of the things you may need to take out of your life, like toxic behaviors, relationships, or any different situations that are causing you more harm than good and affecting your mental health in a negative way. So that's something I really want you to think about going into this next week here. And again, it is a journey. I know I say that like 25 times every mental health moment, but it's true. It is a journey, you all. It is a process. It is a journey. Please trust and believe. I know we have people of varying faith on here, religious beliefs, spiritual beliefs. Totally fine. Everyone is welcome here. So whatever higher power, universe, God, another entity, whatever you believe in, just recognize that everything is meant for our good. So that's why it's so important to trust your journey and trust where you're at right now. And good evening to you as well. Someone said they're here from Alabama and also from Alexandria, Virginia. Thank you for this motivational moment. Absolutely. No problem whatsoever. If you all need me at any time, you can always go to my website, drnikishahammond.com. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. I feel like I'm missing one. Probably another social media channel that I can't think of right now, but you're more than welcome if you need a resource, if you have a question. Please feel free to always reach out. I know someone on here said, what does self-care look like and how do we begin? Great question. And really, self-care, in my strong opinion, is about you working on being the best version of yourself. If you Googled self-care, there's literally 1,000 things that would come up. Here's the problem though. Please, please everyone, do what makes you happy. Do what works to relax you. Do what works to help you grow as a person. And I say that strongly because I was just giving a presentation, I think it was last week, to a group. We were actually talking about youth. And there's so many times I've seen, for example, we know journaling can be very helpful when you're writing your thoughts down, your feelings. But there are kids that people are forcing to use journals to work on their mental health, and they despise writing. Despite you would think you're torturing them to write a sentence. So that's not going to work. That's not self-care. That's not helpful. And it's actually more stressful to them, right? But it's the same thing for us as adults. You can Google self-care ideas, the thousands that are on the list. You do what you like to do. There's things I can read on there, like, yeah, I don't have any desire to do that because that doesn't make me happy, bring me joy, reduce my anxiety, help me be in a better mental health place. So don't do those things, but instead find what works for you. And how do we begin? Really, the best thing I always say of starting, if you're at the beginning of this journey, is trying your best as often as possible to take at least 60 seconds a day. And I know it can be every day because we don't always remember. You can set an alarm on your phone if you want to, but taking at least a minimum of a minute just to allow that time for you to have deep breathing, or you can have that time for you to just try your best to be present in the moment, which is a very peaceful place to be. And reminding yourself, there's all sorts of apps and things like that. There's meditation apps and all sorts of things where you can just do for like 60 seconds. But starting that as a process. And then again, as you have more time, as you have more availability, as you make a deeper commitment to self-care, then it could look a lot different. But that's what I would recommend at a bare minimum start. But yes, please add in things, you all, that bring you joy and not things that you're like, I do my self-care. Like, you shouldn't be having that attitude like, oh God, I gotta do my self-care. That's not self-care then. if you're complaining about it and it doesn't bring you joy, and it doesn't help you grow as a person. But thanks for your question there. And again, if you guys have any other questions, you can feel free to, again, reach me on my website. You can go to any social media channel, follow me there, connect on there. I'm usually posting either something inspirational or some type of resource related to mental health on my social media pages. But again, I will be back next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. right here on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page and YouTube Live and LinkedIn Live. So you all, and thank you, you're welcome. Someone said, I have learned to not feel guilty when or if I have time to relax and take time for me. Yay. And celebrate that. That's a huge thing, because a lot of us do feel guilty when we take time for ourselves, but we absolutely need to. Self-care is not selfish. So make sure you take the time for yourself. But I'll see you all next week, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have an amazing week, and hopefully, let's cross our fingers, no technical issues, and I can get this video uploaded here to YouTube today. But take care of yourselves. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.